Hello again, everybody, and we'll go straight into the squadron summaries for the 2nd of July. 441 Squadron records that 12 aircraft took part in a patrol of easy eastern and western areas. One aircraft returned early with RT trouble. The patrol was uneventful. Two further patrols of 4 aircraft, each in the William, western and eastern areas, were uneventful. So next up, shortly after noon, 12 aircraft were patrolling the eastern, western, and easy areas. The blue section sighted 8 Me-109s and Focke-Wulf 190s flying west about 3 miles west of Le Sceau with 0 feet. Attacking from 9,000 feet, they destroyed 4 Me-109s and 1 Focke-Wulf 190. The enemy aircraft were credited as follows: Flight Lieutenant Moore, 2 Me-109s destroyed and 1 shared. Flight Officer Lake, 1 Me-109 destroyed, 1 Focke-Wulf 190 destroyed, and 1 Me-109 shared. And it notes that Flight Officer McDonald did not return from the sortie, but we have a later entry from the 17th of August that tells us that he actually shot down an aircraft on this day, bringing the total for this sortie up to 6, but he was in turn shot down and evaded capture until mid-August when he did rejoin the squadron. So another happy ending to one of these stories, and I mean, there had been losses in the wing, but not nearly as much as I was expecting to see when I started doing this, but there is still more to come, I suppose. Church service was held at the dispersal at 1000 hours with about 30%. Pilot Officer Perkin was posted from 421 Squadron RCAF. Now 442, Dawn Readiness took off in 3 sections of 4 around 0600 on a shipping patrol, all quiet. Another cloudy day on immediate readiness on the runway. At 10:15, 6 airborne to locate enemy planes in the vicinity, but didn't find them. About 50 mechanics attended the 1100 hours Dominion Day service in the hangar called Dogpatch Garage. 12 aloft, including the wing commander at 12:45, dove on half a dozen Me-109s, one of which had apparently been in a flight just previously, and he was destroyed by Flight Lieutenant Roseland, making his 3rd and squadron's 16th. Flight Lieutenant Trott had his tailplane, damaged by flak. Sector figures for June show 144 Wing leading and 442 Squadron, second of the 9 squadrons for enemy aircraft destroyed. At 14:30 hours, Wing Commander Johnson spoke to all pilots in the wing, reviewing the records for June. All were warned to smarten up their eyesight so that more opportunities could be afforded the wing. At 14:45 hours, back on immediate readiness, airborne at 15:15 with 6. Little haze, visibility very good with lots of clouds. Couldn't locate any enemy aircraft, returned in an hour. In the meantime, 4 of the remaining 6 scrambled at 15:25 but didn't see anything, on readiness until last light, and quite a bit of flying on this day, almost 50 hours for the squadron. And then 443, sky overcast, 2,000 feet, atmosphere very humid and close. Ran into a shortage of aircraft in the afternoon as too many missions were being flown in too short a time, and it was impossible to maintain 12 aircraft serviceable for every mission at the rate requested. And the position had been bettered by late afternoon. Notification received of promotion of Flight Sergeant Urquhart to Warrant Officer First Class with an effective date of 19 December 1943. Cigars are being passed around the squadron quite liberally today as Flight Lieutenant Blades has received word of the birth of Phil Jr. in Vancouver on June 13th. Posting authority received today for Flight Lieutenant Fuller, who has been with the squadron since 24 June. Now, revisiting the squadron record for June for number 443, it shows 19 Spitfires on strength at this time, so not being able to get 12 airborne for a full airborne squadron complement means that almost half of the aircraft at this point are out of service, although that does get fixed up later on during the day. But that's really just down to the number of sorties they're squeezing out of these aircraft, as well as the conditions, the dust and the bare bones supply condition. I couldn't imagine that there are many spares on hand at these AOGs on the continent, so that's always the price you pay whenever you try to surge and maximize the amount of sorties you get out of the aircraft. You can only take it so far because I guarantee that there are things wrong with all of the aircraft, just not necessarily severe enough to keep them grounded, but those little discrepancies start to add up, and then all of a sudden that little problem quickly becomes a big problem, and you can't meet the ATO in modern terms, or you just can't make your 12 in World War II terms. So missions for the day, we have up first 442 Squadron 0600 to 0715. And this is uneventful, cloud 10/10, 2800 to 3500 feet, visibility good. A lot of missions today, but really not that much happening. 655 to 0815, uneventful, clouds 4 tenths, 6 tenths at 2500, visibility good. 441, 0700 to 830 patrol, squadron made an uneventful patrol of the eastern, western, and easy areas. Then immediately back up again, 10 to 1110, section made an uneventful patrol of the William area. 443 up at 10:05 to 11:05, sky overcast with occasional showers. 12 aircraft dispatched on beachhead patrol, divided into 3 sections to patrol the eastern, western, and central beach area. No enemy aircraft sighted. No flak interference over the lines. 4 Spitfires with dark camouflage, dark noses, and no lettering came north from Caen at 4,000 feet in pairs. They followed one section into circuit and stayed above cloud. Their actions seemed suspicious, and they weren't allowed to get in position to endanger our aircraft. Their presence reported to intelligence and information being obtained to establish their identity. So that would be obviously very odd to see an Allied aircraft without the D-Day markings. So really the most likely candidate here is a German captured Spitfire making a reconnaissance over the lines and possibly trying to pick off a couple of aircraft unawares. There would have been at this time several Spitfires in the German hands. A lot of photos exist of those with the aircraft in German markings, not unmarked like they were listed here. And there is a consensus whenever you read about these aircraft that the ones that are shown in the German markings were only painted that way for propaganda purposes, basically for just the photo op. So it does seem very reasonable to me that these were Germans over the Allied lines, just up to no good. Let's move on to 442, 1010 to 1100. This is about the same time. They scrambled, uneventful, 9 tenths, a light broken cloud at 1500, and 3 tenths, 7 to 8,000 feet, visibility good. And then we get into a patrol by number 441 Squadron, noon to 1300, and this is described as the squadron took off, split into 3 sections of 4 aircraft, each patrolled a sector over the front. The section led by Flight Lieutenant Moore sighted 8 to 10 Focke-Wulf 190s and Me-109s flying west about 3 miles west of Lasso at 0 feet. They immediately attacked from 9,000 feet. Flight Lieutenant Moore destroyed 2 Me-109s and shared 1 destroyed with Flight Lieutenant Lake. Flight Lieutenant Lake also destroyed 1 Me-109 and 1 Focke-Wulf 190, so big day for Lake, a name that I haven't seen before now. And then, as I noted in the summary, Flight Lieutenant McDonald failed to return to base, but he did shoot down an aircraft on this mission, was in turn shot down, and then evaded until rejoining the squadron on the 17th of August. Now from there, moving into the afternoon, 443 goes up on an armored reconnaissance, noon to 1340, and that is 8 aircraft dispatched on MLR-1 armed recce to Villers-Bocage, Veer, Domfront, Flare, Caen, 2 smokers, 3 flamers. The result is strafing 5 METs seen on a road, a location unknown. I'm just putting it right there because why not? Very little activity seen, no enemy aircraft, light flak interference, but no damage to our aircraft. But as they were airborne, 442 gets up again on another patrol, 1245 to 1400, and Wing Commander Johnson sighted 3 plus 109s diving from the cloud over Lasso. Yellow section went into attack from 10,000 feet to the deck, destroyed 1 Me-109 by Flight Lieutenant Roseland, and it notes flak inaccurate light north of Caen, 5 tenths patchy, 5 to 14,000 feet, visibility good. And one other little thing that occurred to me right there as I was plotting down that a flak right there north of Caen. Flak north of Caen, chances are that was actually some Allied flak coming up at them as they were on their approach to B3 and not enemy flak. I kind of doubt if they would directly overfly Caen at this point, unnecessarily anyway. But the squadron is airborne again at 1520 on a scramble, uneventful, 10 tenths, 7,000, visibility good, and then a 1540 to 1650 patrol, uneventful, with the same description of the weather. And then the final mission of the day is another patrol by 441, 1545 to 1700, and this was just a section of 4. This section made an uneventful patrol of the western and eastern areas. So we saw a lot of missions. Today, more than ever, we saw just sections of 4 going up with more of a continuous presence in the air as opposed to entire squadrons going up and then with gaps in coverage. So it could be another possible doctrine shift that we're seeing here if this trend continues. But interesting day, especially about those Spitfires they saw. But in either case, I'm going to wrap it up here, move on to the third. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.